Well, south of the video store is a show called Off Our Stones. We got Andrew and me and a friend Cody. We're gonna rank some fucking songs. Rank them songs. Songs gonna rank songs. The longest list in the whole damn town. Longer than old King Kong. Meaner than the junkyard dog. There was a solid 2 days where I was gonna do that intro, but just say time in unrhythmic parts. But I was like, no, I don't think that'd go over well.
Okay,
I'd be
well,
very angry.
we'll talk about that later. Hey guys, welcome back to Off Our Stones, the series where we make our own top 500 songs of all time because we looked at Rolling Stone and said we can do better. Cody is back as the voice of the people. Cody, what have you thought about the playlist for this episode? If you give me a sentence or a word or just a sound.
You limited me. That was rough.
Got to keep it fresh and interesting.
Interesting. I'm just gonna leave it as interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think there are better songs that you guys had higher up on your list than this week. I think this week's like a weird offset week compared to I'm following this trend. I'm on for the ride. Some of these songs I've never heard before. I'm going longer than a sentence because fuck you, Bar. I say what I want. But my thing is it comes to a trend, and this week was just a mixture between I think grandpa and dad kind of music at times, and then some other stuff. It was a weird you guys just said I don't know, fuck it. At this top, but these are top parts of your songs. I'm weird. You two are weirding me out a little bit, but we'll see. Because next episode, banger. But we'll get there.
If there's one word that's been used to describe myself for a long time, it's weird. So I get it.
I can hear your dad right now.
I mean, one of my favorite artists is Weird Al, so it's kind of ingrained.
That's your favorite artist?
One of. It's if I had a hand.
Can you even call him an artist?
It'd be in my.
Whoa, the disrespect. Hold on now. Okay. All right. So, with that being said, for those of you who don't know or are unaware or have not caught up with us for some goddamn reason, the first couple of episodes is going to be songs that are on Brooklyn's list and my list, but just not both of our lists. Cody's going to be the one deciding which song gets ranked higher. He's got a couple vetoes. He's got 8 left. So whenever he wants, up until song number 50 on the overall list, he can decide to take something out and replace it with something else, as long as it's not already on the list, of course.
I hope 51 doesn't suck, because I might just rip it out of there just to have it, because it's my last one. I don't know.
51 is the Escape the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes.
It's safe. 52 is in trouble.
And whoever Cody picks the most songs for, they will get to choose a movie and a 10-song playlist or a 20-song playlist.
20-song playlist.
20-song playlist that the other person will only be able to listen to for a week, but it is the only music that they can listen to. Help. Because, and I say that because right now Brooklyn is in the lead with 41 to 39. But with that being said, let's move in to what is going to be number 340 and 339 on the list for us. Love Reign O'er Me by The Who versus Gold Dust Woman by Fleetwood Mac. I'm going to start by saying 2 bangers, to be completely honest with you. I like Gold Dust Woman a lot. I don't really have too much to say that's bad. I just think that Love Reign O'er Me by The Who is just such an epic piece of music that it is absolutely incredible. Just the multi-pieces and just Roger Daltrey's voice on this is insane. The notes that he can hit and the control that he has while still having that bit of edge to make it sound like it's not perfect. It is just an amazing epic sound piece with that just ringing guitar of bow, 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 bow. It is just a wild, amazing piece.
So Goldust Woman is the closer to the incredible album of Rumors. And I just think it does a great job of this kind of soft release from it. It's done in this like open guitar arrangement, and it moves off of just this one note, and that's a difference in the chords basically, and it kind of just rides on this groove, and you have Stevie's kind of like misty kind of vocals in it and whatnot. And you get into the chorus and you get all these nice harmonies that come in, like, well, did she make you cry, make you break down, and shatter your illusions of love, and tell me, is it over now? Do you know how? And I just think those lines are so great. And like the wails that they get into at the end of this, and you have the booming drums and whatnot at the end. I just think it's of the closers on here, it's one to put on. I agree. I do like Love Reign Over Me. I love the epicness of it. I think Pete Townshend's guitar work is probably my favorite of anything of Who that I listen to. I just think that my song is much better. I think Stevie Nicks is 10 times vocalist that Roger Daltrey is.
They're both incredible singers. Let's be honest with ourselves. I think the one thing about this particular song is that she's not given the range that Daltrey gets to use in this song. It's a little bit more vocally impressive in this particular song, I think.
Yeah, and in this particular song, I'll absolutely give you the range, but I think the atmospheres of our songs, I think mine just does a better job of kind of leaving you guessing. Yours is pretty straightforward, and it kind of loses its touch on re-listen. But I'm curious to where Cody is on this.
Sorry, I was listening and had problem pausing. So one, Brooklyn showed me Rumors, basically. Like, I have heard songs from it, didn't really like it. I didn't really know about it, liked it a lot. One of my favorite albums of all time. I think this is a perfect closeout of the song. I really enjoy it. Rain Over Me, I think, is like the most epic song like that I've heard in a long time. Like, it sounds really cool, but I'm going to use a reference that's going to piss off Bar. It's like a Transformers movie.
How dare you? No,
but listen.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Listen, it's grand in scale, but it doesn't have like re-listenability. Like, I don't want to go back to it as often. Like, it's like, okay, I'll give it better without the Holocaust. Schindler's List. Schindler's List is a great movie, great scale. Yeah. I don't want to visit it all the time. Like, it doesn't have that play, and then going against this song, it's just night and day to me. Like, there are a song that maybe it could have beat, but like this song, like that was just like too epic for me.
Honestly, this is one that I don't mind losing on, because they're both great songs. They really are. I just felt like I had enough Fleetwood Mac on my list.
There's not enough. There's not enough.
I knew that was gonna get that. I knew.
For one, there's songs missing still from Fleetwood, and two, Rumors could be on this entire list. I'd be kind of okay with it. Take Peter Gabriel, add some Rumors.
Okay, moving on. Rumors versus Rumors. No, okay. So 338 and 337. The Mystery of Chess Boxing by Wu-Tang Clan versus Concerning Charlie Horse by Great Big Sea. Brooklyn starts.
So I think this is actually a very fitting battle, because I argue that these are both songs for the children, but also in different ways, because Wu-Tang is for the children. And this song that I have on my list represents like the kids songs. There's a series here on the weekend mornings on CBC Radio called Maritime Morning, and from 8 to 9 they have a segment called the Itty Bitty Wake Up Hour, and it's meant to be these like kid forward songs that are kind of uplifting, and this is kind of the perfect song for that. I've actually pitched before against Bar that this would make an incredible movie. I think it tells a great job about a horse, and it kind of gives all the stories and all these interesting characters. And then you have I think what's great in all folk songs is this great key change. And what Great Big Sea does in particular is they take that key change as a time to kind of just have like a jam session. And that's when the accordion comes in, and it uses that time instead of just kind of changing and then going right into the next verse.
As Wu-Tang said, as Brooklyn said, Wu-Tang is for the children. But just that part of the production alone just gets you so fucking hyped because you're so goddamn set. RZA's production on this is fucking amazing. And everyone just easily flows into the other person just so perfectly. And my God, I gotta talk about Old Dirty Bastard's verse on this. Because Old Dirty Bastard's verse on this is fucking nuts, but it's one of the greatest verses on a song I've ever heard. Gotta get up and be somebody. He is slipping and sliding all over this beat, but it is just so goddamn good. And that's not to take away from everyone else. Ghostface Killah's on here, and he is just fucking killing it. Inspector Deck is just an absolute wrecking ball. Like, the lyrics punch you right in the jaw, but it is just an utter blast to listen to. With concerning Charlie Horse, I'm going to be honest, my biggest problem is that I just don't really remember it. And that's not, and I'm not saying like any like technical problems with it. I'm just saying that for some reason it is a song that it's a blur to me. There's no part, there's no like individual part that I can latch onto and go, oh yeah, that part's great.
Okay. I'll give you that this is definitely a more Canadiana in particular, just like a maritime kind of folk song. I had a really tough time leaving this song off of my list. It was torn between this and another obvious Wu-Tang song. This is still, I think, my favorite. The argument that I have for this song is that after Old Dirty Bastard's line, which it's of the lines that he has in that, Jacques Cousteau could never get this low, I think is my favorite of the lines.
So fucking good.
After his verse, it dips off. And I kind of just want to go, I'm missing Old Dirty Bastard. I want to go back to that for a little bit.
It does make you want to keep like start the song over again, though.
Yeah.
Great. I don't think we have much really else to say. Let's just send it over to Cody.
I think that the counter has to be reset to like the whitest moment on this call is hearing two guys with very almost transparent pigmentation saying "old dirty bastard." But
okay, straight from Bolivia.
Straight from Bolivia. One, I'll tell you, I'll take a guess of what's one of the songs that I never heard prior to today, or to this when I got this list.
Concerning Charlie Horse?
Correct. Banger. Enjoyed the hell out of the song.
I knew you would. After the Mulder shuffle, I knew you would.
Yeah, I need Brooklyn to find all these gems to me and send to it because I'm just moving to Ireland or around that. I don't know. It seems like
you're gonna move to Newfoundland.
Okay, I'm not doing that. But listen, Ireland's okay. On that note, the Wu-Tang is going to get the vote because it's fantastic. So well done.
I don't mind losing that one.
Okay, so there's that there and that there. All right. So let's move on to 336 and 335. Pump It Up by Elvis Costello and the Attractions versus Foreplay / Long Time by Boston. I'm going to start us off by saying Pump It Up immediately has one of the most recognizable bass lines of all time. That bum bum ba do 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 to the point where it has been sampled multiple times. including by Olivia Rodrigo. And it is just, the title says it all. It is a pump up anthem. It is a dance floor anthem. It is a like punky kind of dance where you kind of pogo, but it's also just like you're pumping your fist at the same time. It gets the people going. Plus, Elvis Costello is just amazing on this song. He sounds great. He's wild. He's frenetic. And just the build up to that organ, that such a wild time, and it's amazing.
Okay, so I alluded on a really early episode of like 500 Stones. I think it was the first time that we had talked about More Than a Feeling, that I was like, there's a better Boston song to consider, and this is the one. It is similar to, if you ever hear me talk about like Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding by Elton John, it's kind of similar, has that intro and a carryover. The intro in this is fucking unreal. You have the synth and the pianos and whatnot, having this almost face melting solo with the bass having this nice sort of counter melody, and then it has this nice sort of like sunrise kind of moment with the guitar, and then you have like the opening lyrics, taking my time, just moving along, you'll forget about me after I've been gone, and just that guitar is great, and the range that he has in that song. I think for this bracket in particular, mine beats yours in every aspect. It's a better pump up song. It has better bass. It has better synth. And my guy has better range than Elvis Costello.
First of all, I don't know if you can really dance to this song as much, so it doesn't really beat it in that regard. Also, you made a mistake with this one.
Okay.
Your mistake is not just doing Long Time as a single by itself. Your mistake is adding foreplay to this.
Really?
Because I'm going to tell you what. For me, it is. I feel the same way that most men feel about foreplay in general. I want to skip it and get to the good part. I feel absolutely nothing when it comes to foreplay. It is trying so hard to be Genesis, and it is not Genesis.
Objection, Your Honor. I would like to make sure that this show is foreplay essential. We are pro foreplay.
Oh no. Foreplay should be a good thing. It should be. Not for this song, though.
Blasphemy.
If you had just kept Long Time by itself as the single, I think you would have had something better. But Foreplay itself, it's just not that great.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Cody.
I think you're silly.
So, there's a genre of music out there called dad rock, and they're normally like of the states or cities, Kansas, Boston, like that's like classic dad rock. And listen, when you say it's undanceable, listen, the first dance move was a toe tap and a finger wag, so just remember that all dance moves came from that. So fuck yourself.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about the history of dance on this show?
We should, because music's. I don't know what you're confused with. Okay, anyways, with that being said, I have a question. You asked a question. So, Foreplay and Long Time, they're two separate combined to one, right? Is that what we're talking about?
No.
Yeah.
But the Foreplay part of the song is what Bar doesn't like.
Yeah.
He just likes the Long Time. Is Long Time a version out there that's just that?
No, because on radio play, they're always played back and forth.
Okay. That's what I assumed. So when he said that thing, I was just like, wait a minute, this is how this song has always been my entire life. Is there a different is there just that? Listen, Pump It Up can't even tie. Even if you don't like
on their live album, it's just Long Time.
Okay, on their live album, yeah.
I don't care
So
about
even
that.
the band was
Okay,
like,
listen, sir. Pump It Up. Can't come close to Just Long Time. But I also like Foreplay. So, that you're musically inclined. It's clapping and something right before they get into the. I'm just taking my time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's music right there. That's some dad rock. I'm already a dad. I got my cargo shorts ready. I got my polo. I'm ready. My my sandals. I'm ready to rock. I'm dad proof, and Boston's a part of that.
if that's the
Discography.
case, I am fucked for a couple of these songs.
You would be. Aren't you glad you invited me?
Let's move on to the next one because oh boy, yeah. Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis versus Smooth by Santana and Rob Thomas.
Talk about dad rock. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go, buddy. Okay, Brooklyn, you're starting us off.
Yeah, so this is a battle of like late 90s, early 2000s. Smooth. I mean, Santana had this run of going on with a bunch of people. Michelle Watterson was another one, Game of Love. But I think this is his best collaboration. I think the guitar lick in this is credible. The way Rob Thomas's voice matches with the guitar, especially in the verses. And then in the chorus, you really get to hear him kind of ramp it up and build it. And especially when you get to the line of like, you got the kind of loving that could be so smooth. Give me your heart, make it real, or else forget about it. And then just like how the drums kind of kick in. It's like, I would have never thought that Rob Thomas is a great fit for Latin rock. And it's just, I just think it's the high risk, high reward thing again. I think it's just that's what kind of gets it in here. I really do like Drew. I will say on the forefront, I do like your song, and I think it is a staple for 90s.
Whereas I will say I also do like your song, and I think it's a staple for the early 2000s. But Don't Look Back in Anger is just one of those ones where everything kind of comes together perfectly. Oasis was always their best when they were loud and in your face when it came to their music. And Don't Look Back in Anger is both of those. That chorus is instantly memorable, and it is absolutely a song where if you do it in a bar or a karaoke and you have enough drunk people around you, you are all scream shouting, Sally can't wait, he knows it's too late. The Gallaghers are fantastic on this. And just like the melody of the verses is just whatever they unlocked in that melody, it just really sticks with you. So as I said, I do like Smooth a lot. However, I will say that there are two problems I have with the song. One minor, one a little bit bigger. The one minor one is Rob Thomas singing I'm from the Barrio. Nah, no, you're not, bruh. The second one being there are moments where Carlos Santana's guitar is back further in the mix than the drum and the horns. And you do not do that to Carlos Santana.
Can you give me some reference so that I can look this up? Because I do believe you. I just need to check for myself.
I don't have specific points because, as I said, it kind of happened like sporadically.
Yeah.
But definitely towards the end, like the back half, like after his guitar solo, where he's still doing riffing, but the horns
I can
and the
see
drums
that. Yeah.
and everything is overlapping his guitar.
Yeah. And I'll give that to you on the end.
Yeah. Those are my only two problems with the song, though. Otherwise, it is a very good song. So, two very good songs. Let's see what Cody thinks is the better one.
Go ahead. Because I do have some gripes with Don't Look Back in Anger. I agree that it's this very, very singable song. Like especially when you get to the last line of Don't Look Back in Anger, I heard you say. My problem with this is that I think it's excessive for the list in terms of not only in Oasis songs, but I think in 90s songs. What separates this from Champagne Supernova to have both of these on the list? And then you have the Anger as well. what separates that from, I think, Say It Ain't So, which I think is a better version of this tone?
Well, first of all, Say It Ain't So ain't on this list. And Nova is that Champagne Supernova, while a great song, is still like 9 minutes long. And it kind of is, it doesn't quite have that power that is Oasis's strength that this song does. So there's your answer. All right, Cody.
Okay. So, little known fact about me. Let's play music trivia real quick. Rob Thomas is the lead singer of what group?
Matchbox 20.
2 points. Cody loves Matchbox 20.
Yeah, boy!
Large degree. I don't think they get enough like credit or like
they get too much hate, I would say.
Yeah, because it's like 3 a.m. They get to like rope in with all those songs like that were Unwell, but they're so good. Their albums are so good. So go check them out.
And then everyone just talks about Push, which is their worst song.
Yeah. I mean, even the worst song I like a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't really have a real gripe with most Matchbox 20 songs. Rob Thomas is in this song, and that's just what sets it over the. I feel really bad because once we get to a combined list, the kind of like competition's over, right?
Yes.
Like this is gonna be rough for Andrew to come back. I'm just gonna say because like that when it's like give me your heart, make it. Oh, that's just is like fire. This entire song, it brings me back to like TRL days, and like this song played like all the time, like on MTV or like on the radio. It was everywhere, and I'm like, Rob Thomas and Santana like together. That's a wild combo.
Thank Clive Davis for that. That was
his idea. Works so well.
Okay. So I'm not going to lie. I'm okay with this solely because Smooth was legitimately one of the last songs I cut from my list.
Okay.
This is true.
Yeah.
You should have cut Don't Look Back in Anger. I'm just to help yourself.
Snap.
Nothing can help me now, I'm afraid. All right.
These next 4 weeks or whatever is going quite a row.
I'm gonna hate my life. Okay, moving on. No. To number 332 and 331. Good Golly Miss Molly by Little Richard versus Kiss by Prince.
Oh my God. Like, I just see a shovel and just dirt getting poured on this poor individual, and I'm trying to help him. God.
Giving Brooklyn the point already? Okay.
I mean, listen, before you even give the argument, you give the argument so you want. Kiss by Prince versus maybe the second best song from Little Richard, I guess, if you don't like Duty Free. It's the matchup didn't help you here. Because there's a part of this I like, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Give me 1 sec. Boom. Boom. Okay. So, I will say, here's the thing with Kiss by Prince. And I'm going to get so much hate for this, but I don't fucking care. I think Kiss is Prince's most overrated song.
Really?
I think Kiss is fine. I know where you're going. We'll get to it later.
I think there's a bigger one. Isn't there never mind.
I think Kiss is good. I think Janelle Monáe ended up doing a better version of Kiss with The Way You Make Me Feel. So that's my stance on Kiss. Go ahead, talk about Good Golly Miss Molly, which
I love. Can I never get to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I love like Little Richard piano. Like you want to get me into like a song like automatically. have a killer piano. Like, be that main phone. Those keys just. It is such a good thing. It just doesn't have the weight to carry it throughout. Where like it's like a novelty song. It's a good song, but it's like a novelty. It's like, oh, like I get it. That's funny how he's doing it, and he's always like over the top. And but he's this matchup. He was going against the king of over top, like Prince. Like in this entire song, like I can imagine like people like like a certain group out there when they song. What the fuck is this? Because he's going like he's basically having sex with this song as he's performing. He is like he is like moaning and like high pitched the entire. He is getting it, and when he does that moment, climaxing. I'm saying it right now. He is, and it works so well. This song. Because I think there's other songs, which I don't know if the one's going to come up, but there are songs that he's known for. But I've always thought Kiss and like some of the like, I don't know if this song. Again, I can say whatever I want. I don't know what's coming on the list. You just don't have to make a reaction. But like Little Red Corvette and stuff, songs like I absolutely love over some of his like bigger things. But Kiss is great. So.
Okay. I do want to say one more thing about Little Richard before Brooklyn goes on. Rock and roll owes Little Richard royalties. Because anytime anyone screams, "Ah!" You owe Little Richard money, bitch.
Is that real? Is that really that original though? Like screaming?
Little Richard did it first.
Oh, okay.
Little Richard was the pioneer for that.
You know what he has people to say? That the pencil mustache he should have never had because that's
never had
creepy
that
to this day.
Never had it. Go ahead. Brooklyn,
okay,
sorry.
So what I like about Kiss by Prince, I think it's the best example of Prince as a rhythm guitarist, especially when you get into the end and just how he's able to keep it flashy. Have that nice kind of like that picking sound at the end, but it doesn't sound too similar to not like Nile Rodgers. And just the way that the chorus ends as well, and how there's really it's one of the times that I don't mind the lack of like filling out, because like in the verse it's really just like the bass line and then him way up top. There isn't anything in the middle, and I think that works really well for this. Good golly, Miss Molly. I'm going to give you a glimpse into the writing room for whenever they got to this song. Hey, we did really good with Tutti Frutti. What else can we do? Can we slow it down a little bit and like maybe a key? Okay. And then we're gonna keep it rhyming, right? Okay, yeah. And then what are we gonna use for a name? I don't know. Do you have a dog? Yeah. What's her name? Molly. Okay, yeah. Sure. We'll use Molly. Just a generic. Oh yeah, I apologize to anybody who's named Molly. That's listening. But
he is like coming for your throat right now, boy.
I think this is a hack of a song.
Moving on.
you feel this way with some of mine. I know it's gonna come.
Well, let's move on to a better Prince song. Raspberry Beret by Prince versus Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell. Brooklyn, we kind of took some of your time. You get to start.
So yeah, Big Yellow Taxi. You might remember this if you're from my generation. Like, oh, Counting Crows did this, and you're like, yeah. But then you realize you go to the original, and it's done by the Queen, Canada's own Joni Mitchell. One of the greatest vocalists. I would like her and Aretha. I think are top two. She is an incredible guitar player as well, and I think she just balances it up quite well. Her range in this is great, especially when you get into the chorus. She gets so high and then she ends it so low. And it's like, hey, farmer, put away the DDT now. I don't care about spots on my apples. Leave me the birds and the fleas. And then she just goes into the high pitch, like, please. And I think that's just a great little note to have. The call and answer of the backing vocals in this as well is great. And then, yeah, I'll let you talk about Raspberry Beret, and then I'm going to fucking smash it into the ground.
Jesus Christ. What did I do today? Shut up, Mr. Producer Man. Fucking stay out of this. Okay. So, the thing I like about Raspberry Beret is the lyricism. It is so detailed that it immediately brings you into the world that Prince is creating here. The line about his boss's name being Mr. McGee, she walking in through the outdoor. And it is just a really sunshiny piece from Prince that we get happy songs from Prince, but nothing kind of like this. And it's still got a great pop groove and pop funk to it that is really accessible. But once again, it is the songwriting and the storytelling of this song that really bring it up a level. As with Big Yellow Taxi, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I'm going to say it.
Do it.
Counting Crows version is better. I'm not going to lie.
If it didn't have Vanessa, my God.
Vanessa, oh my God, why am I blanking on her name?
Oh my God.
She wrote 1,000 Miles again.
Williams?
Go ahead.
No. Carlton? Anyways, I forget. Yeah. So
Vanessa Carlton.
There we go. Raspberry Beret reminds me of whenever I was like 7 and we had to go into the car with Dad on Saturday mornings to the dump, and on the radio, they had this segment called The 80s at 8. And this was like the first song every time, and I would groan. And like, why do we have to listen to this? He hides in the production of this. He like Prince is known to be just enough of a diva. And he plays this very safe in this. And it's just generic, like no-name brand pop.
And he's gone. Good. You got caught off at the end. A generic no-name brand knockoff, you said?
Yeah. It's like it's RC Cola to like Big Yellow Taxi, which is easily Pepsi.
It's not even Pepsi and Joni Mitchell's catalog. Okay. It's a different side of Prince that we don't normally get to see. It's
not good.
It's a more vulnerable side of Prince, honestly.
You don't get that in Purple Rain?
Not quite in the same way. It is a vulnerable side where he's head over heels. It is a side of him that is it's infatuation instead of the normal sexuality that we get from Prince. And it's just like a very unique song from him that I think is very important to pop music in general for the 80s. Because a lot of people tried to copy this sound after this. So that's my argument. Let's go to...
Nobody was copying those horns, though.
The fuck?
Okay,
Cody.
Or like the synth or whatever. Yeah, that synth is unique.
Okay. So normal when songs bar sends me the list. It's normally a list on Spotify. I get to listen to it. There were 2 songs this week that were not. I did not know that Yellow Taxi, like Big Yellow Taxi, was like not originally done by Counting Crows. I only know that version. I've never heard the other one. And I sent in the chat, is this a joke? Or is this legit? Because I just needed to know, like, is this like the real version? Like what? Because I thought it sounded bad. This version of it, because I know the one version. So, with that being said, I need to ask Bar a question. I sent him a message. He did not respond. Is the Counting Crows version of this song on the list?
It is not.
Okay, you're breaking up. It's not?
No.
I don't like where this is going.
I'm vetoing Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell, and I'm putting it on as Counting Crows. And then it ranks higher than Raspberry by Prince.
What
This is unprecedented.
just happened? No. How
RKO.
is...
I'm allowed to do that, correct?
Oh, you
You
are allowed
are.
to do it. I'm gonna... Fuck. Ugh. I hope
Okay,
you're right. No, yes, no.
Like, this song came up, I knew what I was doing right away because this song was playing, and then I was like, maybe I don't do that. And then I instead of listening to Joni Mitchell's all week, I've just been listening to Counting Crows version of it. So.
Amazing. I don't know if I get the point for that since you still put this version higher. But
No, you get the point because I vetoed his. Like, it's not his
That's why-
song.
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
that's why I gave it to me. But that was
It's like he did the whole pitch of like talking about it, and then I was gonna veto with a different song, a completely different song, but it's already on the list, so we get to talk about it later.
right.
I'm flabbergasted.
happy
Not the song that I
Brooklyn
expected
was so
to veto.
fucking confident that he was gonna cut me off at the ankles. And then Cody just comes in with a fucking shotgun. Bam!
You were like, I like that version better. I said, yeah, so do I, basically.
Oh, God.
Okay, so let's move on to number
They
3.
literally shot Canada with the bullet today.
All right. So, If We Were Vampires by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit versus Knights of Sidonia by Muse. I'm gonna let Brooklyn go first. After that,
So first thing, a lead-off single right out of the gate. This song in Guitar Hero 3, an incredible song. I believe that bands that were influenced by Queen kind of got split off into two different sections. You have the bands that focus more on the glam rock side with like the Struts, and then you have Sidonia, who is this trio that kind of is like a mix of like highway rock with psychedelic, on top of like the incredible harmonies that Queen was often known for. And I think this just takes you on an incredible adventure. The musicianship that all three of these guys have, the guitar work in the beginning as well, and then you get into like the tremolo solo where there's like it's that rapid picking. Like re-listening to it again this morning, like even hearing the horns in that section, just kind of fills everything out. And then you get into that build-up of like, no one's gonna take me alive. You and I must fight for it, right? No one's yeah. And then you get into like the drum cuts in, and then it's like it just has this nice gallop to it. Just I'm always amazed by the amount of sound that these three are able to put out in a song.
If We Were Vampires, I think is Jason Isbell's best work as a lyricist. Just even the opening verse of it's not the long flowing dress that you're in or the light glowing off of your skin. It's not the fragile heart you protected for so long or the mercy in your sense of right and wrong. And it's just this beautiful gothic love song about how we don't have too much time together on this earth. So for the time that I do have with you, I'm going to love you, and work hard at loving you until one of us eventually dies, and hopefully not leaving the other one heartbroken. It's one of those songs where like the warm acoustic guitars and the beautiful underlying cellos just create this warm, glowing beauty, even underneath this very beautifully dark theme. It just is able to show off Jason Isbell's lyricism, and his voice is just so tender and earnest that it is just a beautiful piece to listen to. Now, I think Knights of Sidonia is good. I really do. I like Muse a lot, actually. Their early stuff, mostly. The biggest problem I have with this song that I think If We Were Vampires just really takes it over on is the production. I think that this song wants to be so much bigger than it kind of is. I think that the guitars really don't have the space to really scream and carry as much power as it really needs to, as well as the vocals. I think it's just kind of too canned and too compressed, and it doesn't give it the space it needs to actually have that big epic swell that it wants. If it was live, I think this song would be incredible.
Yeah, I think that's an argument that enhances it though, is that like hearing it live doesn't make that song much better. I don't agree on the production argument of it, just because like I think the guitars and the vocals are working in harmony so well, especially when you get to that tremolo section and you hear the vocals and he's just wailing, filling out that kind of high part of the track. And I just think it's meant to kind of be in that sphere, because it's kind of like this is kind of a long and winding road song. Like I feel like if they did the Chili episode from Simpsons like a little bit later, they would have had this song, because I think it fits that one perfectly. Where Homer eats a bad chili and he goes on a psychedelic trip. Johnny Cash plays a fox. It's a great episode.
I've seen 2 episodes of The Simpsons, so
okay. I really enjoy If We Were Vampires. I think it's a great example of songwriting. It's very similar to like I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie. Similar vibes. I've learned with Jason Isbell that like if Stan Rogers is here and Bruce Springsteen is here, Jason Isbell's like smack dab in the middle. I think he kind of mixes a bit of both. He's not quite as blue collar as Bruce, but I think he has a nice warm sensibility to him, like Stan does.
I actually like that. That's actually a fair comparison. Cody, 2 completely different songs. So I have to put it on you. Which one's better?
If you just took a random like guess, do you think I'm a Muse fan?
No. You like Queen, so it's a possibility.
They should. They're a Cody band. Fuck, I can't believe that's a thing now. They're a Cody band.
See, Boatman, that's how you get people to say it's Cody stuff, not a Boatman scale. Okay. Anyways, I did not like Knights of Sidonia. I didn't like it at all. It just did not work for me. I did when If We Were Vampires started, I thought I was way out too, and I thought, well, these two both suck. But the more I like listened to If We Were Vampires, I really like the lyrics in that song and the slowed down. It's got like the lyric like of like a country like song. It's got that love story. It's got that good vibe. So it worked really well for me. It's like added into like a normal like list for songs. So check out. So there you go. You got one back.
Sweet. Okay.
You're probably gonna die on the next one.
But probably. Who knows? But I will say, the first time I ever saw Jason Isbell in concert, he's like the only person I've seen multiple times in concert. It was the encore song, and the crowd erupted.
He looks frozen to me. Is he frozen?
Okay,
he is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's rough. Yeah.
You're having rough internet tonight, Andrew. Just to let you
know. That's great. Great. Let's just move on. Okay. All right. So, moving on to this is going to be the interesting one. 326 and 325. Paranoid by Black Sabbath versus War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
Of course, this is the matchup. I should have just guessed it.
It just happened to be where the numbers fell. Okay, Paranoid by Black Sabbath. It's short. It is effective. The melody just drills into your head, and the guitar solos on this are fucking kick-ass. It knows when to leave, but when it does, it leaves an impact. Ozzy, I don't think has ever sounded better on a song. And just the power and the precision that the instrumentation on this song has, it is just fucking kick ass.
The power and the precision. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. So I think the best things that War Pigs has going for it is exactly what you said: the power and the precision. Just how that one riff comes in, and then it's just the hi hats, and like I could honestly just listen to the hi hats. I think a thing that War Pigs that helps it for this. Think about how many different artists say a combination of Lord or Oh Yeah or Oh Lord Yeah. I think Ozzy Osbourne does the best of that. It puts as much emotion and power to it as he can. This is the song that fits kind of like doom metal with a little bit of a groove to it. I think the little spaces kind of in between, there's a nice groove in between of that, and I just think it's this very spacious song, and I think it gives enough of a range, especially over Paranoid. Ozzy has about three or four notes in that entire mix, and I think the riff is not enough to hold on to. It kind of fits the same vein that like Ace of Spades does, and I haven't used this argument yet. I think this entire series, but our songs are in the same key, and this is minus the better in the key.
What a weird argument that was. Okay. So here's my thing with War Pigs. So I'm about to nerd out a little bit. Music critic Mark Grondin has brought up 3 Ps when it comes to protest music: power, precision, and the ability to bring people together. It is a populist kind of song, and it starts off that way, but then it starts to kind of get stuck up its own ass towards the end, because the instrumentation just kind of starts to keep going and going, and it starts to sound like the band is playing for themselves and not for the people, which is what weakens it as a protest song. The instrumentation on Paranoid is supposed to kind of all ram together because it's supposed to just be a power energy like kind of thing with lyrics that are kind of deep. But the main focus is the power and the precision. War Pigs is a protest song through and through, but towards the end, it starts to feel like the band is playing more for themselves.
Are we still talking about Paranoid if it doesn't have the controversy of the last line? I think that helps a lot. Whether it's "and your" or "enjoy life." That, have you never heard that controversy? That's a
no. This is not a big controversy.
That is an actual thing. Like, yeah, he gets asked about that he was asked about that quite a bit.
Okay. Well, having never heard that argument before, I think either way it's emotionally effective, and either way that you listen to it, still has that emotional resonance, whichever way you hear it. So that would be my argument for that. All right. Any last words?
No.
Okay, Cody.
So, one of these songs, it takes like a minute to get into War Pigs, but that first 40 seconds is arguably one of the coolest 40 seconds in songs. I've heard it used, players have used it as a walk-up song in baseball, which is crazy, but it plays so well over the loudspeakers. Just that. I think the rest of the song doesn't hold as much weight as the first 40. That portion. I'm not saying the song overall is bad. It's not. I think just Paranoid plays better. It's more of a I can pick up and listen and enjoy. So I have to go Paranoid. But I think War Pigs is could beat a lot of songs on today's list that just happen
Yeah.
to go against the other Black Sabbath. It's just so Paranoid is like one I know there's more recognizable. It's one of the most super recognizable songs as soon as it starts.
Of the matchups that we have today, that was the one that I had penciled that I thought that I was going to win clearly.
Oh, okay.
That is twice now, Brooklyn. That is twice now. You've done that in our private chats.
You thought you were going to win more Pigs over Paranoid?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, let's move on.
Nothing, good sir.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 324 and 323. Call Me by Blondie versus Pink Triangles by Weezer. Brooklyn goes first on this one.
Yeah, I do. So I'm not gonna lie, a pretty relatable song if you are aware. Very topical, I guess. I think the chorus in this, I think, is one of the most re-listenable. I'm dumb, she's a lesbian. I thought I had found the one. We were good as married in my mind, but married in my mind is no good. I think that line is just great, and how it's very circular and kind of like similar to like how Norm Macdonald would talk about like a perfect joke where it starts and ends the same way. Similar to music, how you can kind of apply that. How River Cuomo's vocals fits with the guitar that's kind of that's joining him in the melody of this, and just that off-kilterness that it has kind of fits the brand of it. I was laced to the Pinkerton train in general with Weezer, and I think this is a highlight of the record itself. It's a little off-brand from like the rest of like the blue, red, green, white albums. But I think it's a great job, and it's one of the more like they're often called like the Beach Boys of the 90s, and I think this is the closest to that.
I've never heard that, and I'm going to be honest with you, kind of hate that. So Call Me by Blondie is one of the best produced rock songs ever made. First of all, Debbie Harry sounds fantastic on this song. Just the way that she screams, "Call me!" And then there's a response from the rest of her band. Perfect. You go into any bar or rock show or any place and someone does that, immediately there's someone else that is, at least in their mind, repeating it. Giorgio Moroder did a fantastic job with this song, because not only lyrically and musically is it interesting, but production-wise, you hear every instrument placed perfectly in the mix, and every instrument, even though they don't have like a solo, they have their own like chance to shine. You get to really appreciate the musicianship on this song. It is a fantastic car driving song. Anytime that you're going at minimum 45 on the highway and this song comes on and you just hear that galloping beat and that galloping groove, holy shit, does it pump you the fuck up. With Pink Triangles, though, first of all, I don't think the song has aged quite that well. The "oh, she's a lesbian" kind of joke, I don't think has quite grown the way that they had hoped. And the other thing is, I think that this song kind of fucked Weezer for a while, because I think this song is the catalyst for that era where they were definitely a meme band. The song where they started to be like, "Oh, guys, we're kind of silly. Look how relatable we are in our silliness." I think this song was the catalyst for that.
I don't think that hits till the Green album though, with Beverly Hills. That's when it like that's when that's in.
Beverly Hills was on Make Believe, not the Green album.
Anyways, thank you for actually me.
I'm sorry. Actually.
Yeah. So I disagree that it's like a great like driving and highway rock song. I still go to Knights of Sidonia in terms of that galloping beat, and then like when you think about Blondie's discography, it's hard not to go to like Heart of Glass. And think of like the similar things in this. I think the organ or the keys and whatnot. Debbie Harry is better in that one as well. I think my biggest problem with Call Me in general is that it's trying to be a Yes song. I think it's relies almost too much on the keys. I disagree in terms of all the instruments getting a chance to shine. I don't get to hear a ton of the bass. It's a lot of the guitar, both rhythm and lead. I will give you that line in Pink Triangles hasn't held up well, but I think in terms of just the dissolvement of a marriage or like just a relationship in general, where it's like, oh, I thought things were going so well, psych, they weren't.
Here's the thing that you try to compare them to Yes, and then you compare Call Me to Blondie has always been a new wave band, and disco's always been kind of a piece of their design. So I don't understand where the argument's going here. Is it supposed to be Yes, or is it trying too hard to be Heart of Glass? Because Yes doesn't really make disco stuff. I'm kind of just confused with where the lines are supposed to meet up here.
The synth solo, the tones are very similar. Like when I hear that, it makes me want to go to a Yes song because of how the solo is kind of moving in with it and whatnot. But yeah, that's all I have to say really.
We'll go to Cody then.
I wouldn't say that I'm a Weezer like fan. I like some of their music. I don't like all their music. Call Me is just fun, like a lot. Like I had to go with that because I mean, Pink Triangles didn't grow on me over the week. I don't really care about the line in the song. Like that's not something that's really gonna like really bug me over time. But it just didn't grow to the level of like Call Me. Every time Call Me started, it wears a little bit because it's repetitive a little bit, but it's still a lot of fun. So I had to go with Call Me.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the last two songs of the episode. Songs that are going to be 322 and 321. Those songs being Ready or Not by the Fugees versus Miss You by the Rolling Stones. One of, I think, Brooklyn's favorite Rolling Stones song, if I'm not mistaken.
My favorite Rolling Stones song.
I get to start, though. And let me just say, I don't know if I can think of another hip-hop song where the atmosphere was more effective than ever. That Enya sample that creates the low end in that song is fucking haunting. And I feel like I am in danger. And I think that the rest of the group really kind of capture that vibe with the way that their flow works on this song. Especially Praz. Praz's like deep vocals in like the last half of the song really set like this dark atmospheric tone. I think that all three of them are on top of their game when it comes to their performance and their lyrics, but it is just that haunting atmosphere by one of the best sample uses I've ever heard in a song.
So the song there, sorry, the time that I heard Miss You that really cemented it as an all-time great song was hearing it live played by a wedding band. And this is one of the all-time greats in terms of just a jam song where it only takes 4 notes from Keith Richards' guitar to set up that entire groove. I love the bass line in this. The sax solos at the end are great. How it builds up, or how kind of like sends off in the chorus, like, and he's like you have like the bass line, and then you have like the horns come in like for like 4 notes, like do 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 do, and then it cuts out, and then it's back to just the bass line, and then the guitar comes back in, and it kind of loops back in all together. I think this is one of Mick Jagger's best performances. Especially when you get to the Puerto Rican girls who are just dying to meet you, kind of sets up the atmosphere. In terms of Ready or Not by the Fugees, my problem with it is the same problem with a lot of Fugees songs. I think Pras and Wyclef are not ideal or not optimal in it. Wyclef doesn't really get a chance to shine with his true character. I feel like it's kind of reined in. In terms of atmosphere, when I hear this, I go to similar songs, for example, like Till I Collapse, Eminem, like God's Gonna Cut You Down, Johnny Cash, these really kind of like pump up songs. What separates that from those? Because I think those are better atmosphere songs and better pump up songs similar to this.
Ready or Not's not a pump up song. It's a song that's
Ready or Not, Here I Come.
Intimidate you. It's designed to intimidate you because they're coming after you.
Exactly.
I'm not pumped up by someone coming after me. I'm terrified.
But
and
that
that's what the vibe they're
competitive
going
edge.
for is.
You're silly. You're really silly.
I think that I don't quite agree with you about Pras and Wyclef. Especially with Pras, because as I said, that really deep, sinister kind of vibe that he's going with, like he is really feeling the mood of this song. It has that feeling of walking down a dark alleyway with just maybe a little bit of backlight in the middle of the night in like a bad part of the city. That's the kind of vibe that you get from this song. Not, oh man, I'm jacked. Whereas with Miss You by the Rolling Stones, I think the biggest problem that this song has is that looping kind of starts to get lost on me. It's what I think like 5.5 minutes or something like that. And it feels like 3, but not in a good way. Like parts of it get lost because it's just kind of the same thing over and over and over again. That's my biggest problem with that.
So I think my defense for that is that the bass has essentially this 16-bar loop that has the good payoffs in the last 2 bars where it builds up and then it kind of lets you reset back into the riff.
All right. Well, we'll go to Cody for the final thoughts on this episode.
So I think the disconnect between pump up doesn't mean like trying to like if you were to like sing the lyrics for yourself, it's like that's your pump. Like that could pump you up, not like they're coming after you personally. I think that was a confusion on Bar's part. I understood where Brooklyn was. I understand where Brooklyn was going for that. Like God Will Cut You Down. Like all those songs. Yeah. Perfect. Either or. Is the Fugees like the most featured band on your guys' personal like separated? But I think like there's a lot, at least on the separated, they've shown up 3 times. So okay.
3 times.
I'm not the biggest Rolling Stone fan. But I will say this is a song I haven't heard before this week.
Really? Wow.
I don't know how. That was surprising to me too. I think like Rolling Stones, I'm like, yeah, of course I've heard it. I just doesn't click in the register of me ever hearing it before. Watch It being like one of my favorite movies of all time. I just didn't pay attention. With that being said, I have to go with Ready or Not. I really enjoy that overall song. I just do. But Miss You is like, as not a fan of the Rolling Stones, very good. Very good. Like, I understand why that is your favorite Rolling Stone, because most Rolling Stone songs are.
They leave your pizza burning, as Miss Heard once said.
Facts.
All right. Well, with that being said, I'm just gonna do the math here. So 45 to 30. No, 45 to 45. We are tied up again.
Tied again. God,
we're tied again.
I was doing so well, and then what was the turning point here? Was
turning
it? Yeah.
Point.
No, it was A Big Yellow Taxi.
Big Yellow
That's
Taxi.
where it all went.
That was where it all went wrong because he went with me every single time after that.
Yeah, sorry, Brooklyn.
Oh, man.
Fuck.
You really pissed me off with that one.
Okay. Well,
That
with
was like,
that
that was
being
like
said-
Jay Jackson throwing a 6-slider and Aaron Judge sending it 450 feet into the
Oh,
stratosphere.
yeah, but you pitched 5 sliders before that and got his
Yeah.
timing real good.
Brooklyn comparing someone to Aaron Judge to a Boston Red Sox fan. Bold choice,
He's the
Scott.
devil.
He is.
With that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Tune in next week when, as Cody said, probably a stronger list. We'll find out. But for Off 500 Stone's subsidiary of the video store, that is Cody Newberry. That is Brooklyn Vale. I'm Andrew Barr. Keep on rocking.
Buy our shit.
Oh, and buy our shit. I got to get better at that.